already did it. With the subs up, you better listen. Coming up, but ain't no competition. Nah, I ain't tripping. Nah, all the boys kinda moving to my flow. Now the girls kinda dropping low. Going through the most, cause they ain't afraid to grow. Coast to the coast, I'ma hit your radio. Dreaming about it every day. I'm over. Now I'm finally on my way. I'm over. I've been on my gun, I've been feeling myself. I do it all for me, none for nobody else. I'm looking what I see. Hit different. When a little mama got a big vision. Hit different. Aiming high, baby, I go the distance. I've been putting in work, putting in time, putting me first. Now my whole life. Hit different. With the bang, ready. Hit different. Ooh, over there. Who's the hot one with the long hair? Looky. Ooh, that's me. Mirror, showing I'm a bad bitch. And I don't see the girl that I felt. Sit down and out on the self. A total mind and body globe down in every cell. Living it up. And I'ma go and killing it, cause this is what I do. Dreaming about it every day. I'm over. Now I'm finally on my way. I'm over. I've been on my gun, I've been feeling myself. I do it all for me, none for nobody else. I'm looking what I see. Hit different. When a little mama got a big vision. Hit different. Aiming high, baby, I go the distance. I've been putting in work, putting in time, putting me first. Now my whole life. Hit different. With the bang, with the bang. Boom, 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 bang. Boom, bada, boom, bada. Hit different. Boom, 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 bang. Boom, bada, boom, bada. Hit different. Coming in hot, I'ma get in it. Got you feeling that bass when I'm hitting it. With the bang. Hit different. When a little mama got a big vision. Hit different. Aiming high, baby, I go the distance. I've been putting in work, putting in time, putting me first. Now my whole life. Hit different. With the bang, ready. Hit different. Say imitation is the highest form of flattery. Well, I guess using that equation, you must really fucking love me. Now I can blame you on the shit. Check the fit. Got you maxing out the visa, trying to cop the vision. Trying to be oh, but everyone can see you're the cheapo repo pizza, and I'm the Mona Lisa. You're talking while I'm walking by. Look a little green, I know you're dead. Now you won't want mine, so take my advice and get alive. Love me or hate me, but you're still super shady. Got my name on the daily, but you wanna be just like me. I ain't so fakey, want a piece of this cakey. I'm a superstar, baby. Yeah, you wanna be just like me. Wanna be, wanna be, wanna be just like me. Wanna be, wanna be, just like me. Niggas got me faced. Get up from my lane. I'm a Sachi, you're a safe. I can't be replaced. I'm a shred. Check the fit. You're the cheapo repo pizza, and I'm the Mona Lisa. You're talking while I'm walking by. Look a little green, I know you're dead. Now you won't want mine, so take my advice and get alive. Love me or hate me, but you're still super shady. Got my name on the daily, but you wanna be just like me. I ain't so fakey, want a piece of this cakey. I'm a superstar, baby. Yeah, you wanna be just like me. Wanna be, wanna be just like me. Wanna be, wanna be, just like me. Wanna be, wanna be just like me. resist what you see. The curves, the heels, the hits. Hit your screen, and baby, now you're mine. Love on me, hate on me, you can get me off your mind. From what I got to the top, some tryna cop how I pop, but they all look solid. I'll be stacking millies while you watch me. Sorry, but I ain't sorry. Stare all you want, get what you need. Just know the show is never free. Give me your good, ugly or bad, I still get the bag. Looky on my face, but you wanna taste. Got a lot to say, but you can't look away, babe. Sucky, hey, make you wanna play. Yeah, you wanna hit it good, wanna hit it like I'm clickbait. Like it, or you don't, I'm gonna get money, make it on the internet. You can call it fake, you can go and hate, but you wanna hit it good, wanna hit it like I'm clickbait. Clap, help me put my money in a big bag. You gon' get me paid. Could you hit or replay? Got my name in your tongue. Stepping all of this steak, make it eat it on crumbs. Do how I do it and let it do what it does. Love on me, hate on me, you can get enough, baby. Got a black without a degree, got a mag cause I'm VIP. Run it back and you feel the heat. I play the game and y'all want it, so I ain't crying over comments. Stare all you want, get what you need. Just know the show is never free. Give me your good, ugly or bad, I still get the bag. Looky on my face, but you wanna taste. Got a lot to say, but you can't look away, babe. Sucky, hey, make you wanna play. Yeah, you wanna hit it good, wanna hit it like I'm clickbait. Like it, or you don't, I'm gonna get money, make it on the internet. You can call it fake, you can go and hate, but you wanna hit it good, wanna hit it like I'm clickbait. Ooh, it's a little sad, it's gotta be this way. That you're better with the mirror, so you come for me. Looky on my face, but you wanna taste. Got a lot to say, but you can't look away, babe. Sucky, hey, make you wanna play. Yeah, you wanna hit it good, wanna hit it like I'm clickbait. Like it, or you don't, I'm gonna get money, make it on the internet. You can call it fake, you can go and hate, but you wanna hit it good, wanna hit it like I'm clickbait. Clap, help me put my money in a big bag. You gon' get me paid. Clap, help me put my money in the fat stack. You gon' get me paid.
Welcome back to this channel, everyone. It's Resident Internet Psychic Medium and Spiritual Advisor, Mr. Rainn. How you guys doing? It's been a minute. It's been 2 weeks. How you guys doing? Bayana says, what y'all have for dinner? I'm eating some burritos and queso. You know what I had for dinner, actually? I actually literally just got back home because I went to a Chinese buffet for dinner. And so we're going to see how long I sit on this live because I got to be honest, I don't know how long it's going to take before it makes an exit route. How you guys doing? Oh, thanks, Kim. Kim says, hi, I love your tarot teachings. Thanks. Hey, cute. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Michelle. Oh, no. I'm grieving the loss of my Doberman Venus. Procedures are high. Found out I had breast cancer so early. She's my angel. I came for positive energy to heal from this pain. Oh, I'm so sorry you're going through that. Oh, I know you're in a season right now. But we're gonna keep our vibes high for you. How you guys doing? How was your weekend? How was your day? How was your week? Are you getting on? Are you getting on okay? I know I was absent last week. I don't have a solid excuse other than I got to the time and I was like, I'm tired. That's it. That's all that happened. I was like, I'm just feeling tired. I would prefer to lay down. So I did. That is what happened last week. Nothing crazy. No massive story. Just wanted to lay down. And so I laid down. Oh, all right. So, I do have a question. I have a funny story. Maybe it's a funny story, but it's also it's also with a question, right? So I had another scenario. Remember how I told you about Starbucks girl? When I went to Starbucks and then she like fanned out and was like, I know you. And I was like, you don't, sweetie. And she was like, no, I know you. And then we confirmed that she did not know me, that I think she knew someone who I looked like, but it was not in fact me. Remember when I told you about Starbucks girl? Right. So I went to an event this weekend and it was like an event that one of my friends was hosting. So I just went to show up to be like supportive, right? But I didn't know anyone that was there. It was just, I only knew my friend that was hosting, but there was like a lot of other women that was there. I didn't know. It was my first time meeting them. They were great, by the way, but it was just my first time meeting them, right? So I think there was like 10 of us total, maybe, give or take. And because no one knew each other, we all sort of was sitting down at tables with each other and introducing ourselves. Like, hi, nice to meet you. I'm so-and-so. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm so-and-so. And one of the women whose table that I was like at, I had another situation where I introduced myself. She looked at me and she goes, do I know you? And I was like, no, I don't think so. Like, I don't think we've met before. And then she goes, I think I know you. And I was like, I don't think you do. We've never met before. And then so she was just kind of like stopped for a moment and she was like, huh? And then I felt bad because I could tell that she was like really trying to place it. And I was like, we didn't meet because I'm actually really good. I'm not great with names, but I'm pretty good with faces. And I'm pretty good at remembering when I meet people and like when I don't. It's not very often where I like forgot that I met somebody. And so I was like, no, seriously, like we haven't met before. And this, so I said to her, I was like, maybe I just have a familiar face. Like, don't worry about it. And so she goes, what do you mean by that? And so I said to her, I was like, actually, this has happened recently where like people have thought that they knew me, but they didn't really know me. And I was like, maybe I just have like one of those familiar kind of faces, you know? And then she goes, huh. No, I don't think that's it. And then I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. We didn't meet, right? So a couple like there was like a little bit of like dead air time where like she kind of went back to her corner and I kind of went back to my corner. But I could see out of the corner of my eye that she was like thinking. And then she turns back and she says to me, she goes, are you on TV? And I was like, no, not on TV. And then I said to her, YouTube? Is it YouTube that you're thinking? Because I know some people watch YouTube on their TV. Sometimes I watch YouTube on my TV. And I was like, YouTube? And then she goes, no, definitely not YouTube, TV. She was like, are you on TV? And I was like, no, sweetie, I'm not on TV. Like, we don't know each other. And then she goes, huh, okay. And then it was another one of those moments where it looked like she felt like she had got gaslit or something like that. And I was like, we don't know each other. So now I'm sitting over here thinking, do I just have a familiar face? Am I just one of those people with the face? Because some people have a face. Some people just have a familiar face. Do I have a familiar face? Like, serious question. Because I don't know what's going on recently. And I don't know why I'm like having these run-ins with people either. Like, TV, like, I feel like that's a big one. I feel like if she was like, do I know you? And I feel like if I was on TV, I would have started there. I would have been like, well, I'm on this show, maybe you saw there. Like, I would have started with that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't hide it. I wouldn't be like, no, I wouldn't just like, I wouldn't play coy with that one, So I don't know. Like, right? If it happens a third time, I'm going to be like, that's it. Like, what's going on here? What am I missing? Right? What am I missing? Because I don't know. But I was like, but then I got curious, right? Because I'm coming from like the metaphysical perspective. And I like fished around for her like metaphysical musings. Like, are you into spirituality? Like, what do you do? Because I'm trying to figure out like where she's coming from. And she seemed very like not into it. You know what I mean? Very science, But I'm thinking, wait a minute, hold on. So I remember asking her, well, what do you mean by TV? Can you like elaborate? Like where did you see me on TV? Now I want to know. Like, tell me this vision. What's in my energy field? What do you see from me? You know what I mean? And then at that point, she was just like, I don't know. I just thought I saw you on TV. And so it ended up not being all that helpful. But now I'm suspicious, I'm very suspicious. Maybe it's a sign, Maybe it's a sign that I'll be known. I don't know for what. I mean, if it's tarot, I'm just gonna laugh. I swear to God, if that's what it is, Somebody let me redo this. Because that's not what I would have picked. Oh God. Oh God. I don't know. But now I'm gonna see. Now I'm gonna wait for it. Now, if it happens a third time, I'm gonna be like, there's something in the air. There's some. Now I have to have a seance, right? I gotta summon all the beings. I gotta start. Now I need to call down all the ancestors. Now we got questions to ask. What's going on? And why are people sensing things around me and then being very confused about it when I'm trying to tell them that, like, it's incorrect? Is it incorrect, or is it that I can't see it yet? I don't know. What if those people getting approached like, oh my God, mystic, right? What if those people getting approached like, what do you mean? Am I reading it wrong? Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Maybe it's a typo. It's your prequel for the new book. Oh, that's good. That's good stuff. Maybe a clip of your videos out somewhere. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe something is somewhere and they saw that and it was like quickly, and then they're trying to like place like where they saw it, because I don't know. The internet does its own internet thing, and I don't know, I don't know. I don't know where it is. I have no idea. I have no idea. Couldn't track it down. I have no idea. All I know is that if it does happen a third time, I'm gonna be like, what's up? What's up? Honestly, if it happens a third time, I may just play along. I may just be like, really? Where'd you meet me? I may just go with it. Instead of fighting everybody at this point, I'm gonna just go with the flow at this point. Anyway, the muggle job, those people that they think you are muggle job. No, not. Wait, hold on. You mean, okay, I'm reading two different people's things. Those people that think you are, oh my gosh, Mr. Oh, I gotta go back up. Okay. So I think this is what you're talking about, but I'm not quite sure. But the people that have thought that they saw me can't identify me. So it's not, so like the mystic Rainn thing for them isn't popping up for them at all. They just, it's something about my face and something about how I look that for them they think they're recognizing, but the name itself, right over their heads. Nothing at all. I don't know. The muggle job, no, because I tell you, nothing about my muggle job says anything about TV or Instagram or any of those. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know where they would have, or in passing, or I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it keeps happening. So I had a fun thing that happened at the end of last week. I made a YouTube short about it, but I don't know if you guys saw it because I don't know where these videos go, and I don't know who sees whatever. But it was me getting boxes of my book and then like being super surprised by it because I didn't know it was like actually on its way to the house, right? So I figured I'll show you guys, because today I literally got another box. It was like UPS, and I was like, I didn't order anything again. And then it was another box that showed up with more books in it. And I thought to myself, how it's the weirdest thing. It is the weirdest experience to like not be expecting a package, and then when it shows up, it's your stuff. I'm like, oh my God, this is like the coolest thing. So I figured we're going to go over it and then we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the book, and I'm going to let you see it. I'm going to let you see inside of it because I've been talking about this damn thing for forever. How long have I been talking about it? Has it been a year yet? Have you guys like rode with me that long? Has it been a year yet since I've been talking about it? I feel like at this point, you guys deserve a peek, I feel like it's been a year. At least you can see now that I'm not full of shit. Okay. So this is how like the boxes come. This is actually a small box. If I can make room, hold on. Okay. So it's a small box, believe it or not. And this is how it comes. Okay. What does this say? This says nothing. That's UPS track and flip. But then, you guys, More got delivered today. I literally have an office that's just full of books. Like, just full of them. Just full of them. And it's the weirdest feeling because when making it and when writing it, it feels so elusive. And it's such a long project. Like, it takes so long to do. Like, this was a year and a half of was it a year and a half? The deal was signed last year, like March. So yeah, like a year and a half from like beginning to end. And I think that's when it was signed. I believe that the talks started like beginning of February. And that was because they like contacted me and I thought that they were like scamming me. I didn't think it was like a real thing or a real offer because that happens a lot, you know? And then so I didn't even respond to them. And then so they kept reaching out. And then eventually I was like, okay, I'll bite. Like, what is this about? And then it was like a one-liner in an email. They were like, you want to write a book? And I was like, you're scamming me. Like, what is this? And to go from all of that to like boxes, and you can't even see like the other side of like my like camera setup. There's literally books everywhere. And there's another box that's still unopened and it's just full of books. And the shit just says Mystic Rainn on it. And it's just blowing my mind right now that it like came into form. It's still blowing. I literally at night will be in the bed in the dark like this. And then I'll do this. Sometimes I'm like this. And then I'll do this. Just flip it, not reading it because I can't read it again. It's just too much. There's been so many pass-throughs that like the words right now blend together. So then I'll look at the back and then I'll do this. And then I'll be like, oh my God, it's real. It's like the most surreal experience, right? But I wanted to show you guys what it looks like. And I also wanted to talk to you guys about the process, right? So first, here's the book. Front and back. And I actually thought it was really sweet how the back ended up turning out, because this like backs of books and stuff like that, and like the little blurbs that you may see on like Amazon, like in the about areas, is usually written by like an editor, right? Unless it's like self-published, but it's usually written by the editor. The author doesn't necessarily always write the back cover, right? And so that was the case with this. I didn't write it. The editors wrote it. And so I didn't know what they said until the very, very end of the whole process. So like we're talking like I wrote it and went through its editing phases and then like its approval phases and then its fact checking. Like I went through all this stuff. And then it was like one of the last things I saw before they hit go on it. And I just thought it was the sweetest thing. It said, they wrote, unlock the secret of the cards with renowned psychic medium and YouTube sensation, Mystic Rainn, as she takes readers on an enchanting journey through the rich history, lore, and spiritual essence of tarot. I was like, me? A YouTube sensation? I was like a renowned psychic medium. Because I would have never said that about myself. And I was like, you guys, it was like a whole moment for me. And I just thought it was like the sweetest thing ever. And then I just thought it was so interesting how we just went hand for it, man. Like, because part of the process, like, of like pitching is like of books in general, or just anything that you want to do, is about like talking about why you doing it is different, right? And like why you would have an impact that other people wouldn't have. Because a lot of the times, especially with like writing, a lot of the ideas that get written about are not necessarily original ideas. What makes them special and unique is like that particular person and their spin on it, that person's personality, how they talk about things. And that is what makes people like them and then therefore like their work. The subject matter is like one thing, but there's already like tarot books out, right? So it's not like it's groundbreaking that I also wrote one too. But what happens, it becomes like how you're putting your own spin on it and like what makes it different. And so I remember all the way in the back during the pitch process. So this was before the deal was signed, like back in March of last year. I was like, I think that I'm like one of the few Black women even doing it, like even trying to write about it or even trying to be published about it. And I remember saying, I think that I am. And I actually put it in the pitch. And then in the pitch, I was like, question mark. And then I think the part that surprised me the most is that they took it and they just went with it. And so like they said, where is it? It says, inside, you'll find a fresh, relatable perspective that is accessible and down to earth while challenging the stereotypes of spiritual books for women. And then a unique, much needed voice in the tarot community as one of the few Black female authors in the field. And I was like, you guys. I literally like emailed them and I was like, who wrote this? Who said this about me? Oh my God, it's the sweetest thing that you guys could have said. And then it came out. So let's see. Let's take a look inside. So first, it's matte. It's a matte finish. To be quite honest with you, I'm really surprised that they let me get away with the amount of stuff that I actually asked for. I didn't think I was going to get away with any of it, to be quite honest, but I was like, can't hurt to ask. So I did. I got away with all of it. Well, not all of it, but most of it, right? So it's matte and it's got like a soft kind of feeling, like a velvet matte kind of feeling to it, which I didn't think I was going to get away with because that is more expensive. So I was like, there's no, like, I'm like new and I don't really think this is going to work. But then they gave it to me. They let me do it. And I was like, oh my God. And then the inside is color. And for those of you that don't know, it's incredibly expensive to print in color. Like, especially every page. Like, it's incredibly expensive to do that. Didn't think that they would let me do it, but I asked. And then they just did it. And I was shocked. And the craziest thing is I didn't know that they were going to do it until they just did it. Right. Like, I remember I asked about it. The only thing that response I really got about it was like, well, we don't know, it's more expensive to print like that. And I was just like, okay, well, I asked, I did what I needed to do about it. And then I like let it go. And then when I opened it, I was like, it's in color. I was like, holy crap, it's in color. And then so it starts with like this. Wait, where is it? So these are the front pages of it. And then the thing that tripped me up, right, was it's literally like the little things, but the shit that made me go, oh shit, was this page. It was the copyright at the top where it was like copyright Mystic Rainn. And I was like, yes, bitch. Yes, bitch. I did it. And then I actually ended up dedicating the book to my mother because I just thought she'd get a kick out of this shit. Like watching, she would just be so like, holy shit. So I just dedicated to her. I thought that was the funnest thing. But then outside of all of that, it literally is a breakdown of each card. So each card gets its own like separate page. And then within that, the idea was to sort of like teach you the basics. The idea, what I was trying to do was trying to find a new way of teaching it, but then also a way to simplify it even further. With the idea being that like when you read tarot books, it just feels convoluted, right? I'm hoping that I succeeded with doing that because it's also like just as hard as it is to read about, it's also like really difficult to write because it's just lore. And it's also trying to find like the dominant lore because there's so many, right? Like where is the one that's right? Where is the most accurate? So I did find it a little bit difficult, but I'm really excited that it's done. I wrote you guys a letter to my dear fool, because I spend the entire time calling you the fool in the book. So whenever I'm like talking to you as in the reader, it's like my fool, like my dear fool is how I'm addressing you. And the point of that was to reinforce the idea of it being like a fool's journey and reinforcing the idea that like we're talking about you, that like anything that's said in tarot is actually referring to you, i.e. the fool, and like what's going on in your life. And so in the book, I'm constantly referring to the reader as the fool to sort of reinforce that. And so it's just written all throughout here. Welcome to the fool's journey. We go into the history of tarot. We start breaking it down with the basics. Wait, hold on. I stopped reading. I'm late, dang it. You're not. No, you're not late. I only just started running my mouth. You know, it's been 2 weeks. I'm sure I got things to say. Renowned, right? Like, thank you. I don't even know what that word means. I should probably Google it to be. I'm not really all that sure what it even means. It just sounds fancy. Judy says, I'm so excited for you. I've been here since you dropped your Learn Tarot series, and it's so exciting to see how far you've come. Oh, thank you. Oh. Michelle says, I can't wait to get my copy. Yes, I'm so excited about it too. You stumbled across the live. Good. Hi, first time here. Well, we are glad to have you. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Okay, what else in here is fun? Oh, another thing that I had really that's different, that's like in here now, and I can like talk about it because there's a copyright slapped on it, and I was like a little bit cagey about it, is I created a new way to like learn the court cards. And what it's called is the Royal Family. I'm actually looking for it in here so I can show you. 1 second. Okay, we can do it for like the one. So for example, when you get to new suits, this is how it starts. So you'll get the picture grid and then it'll break down card by card. But when you get all the way to the end of the suits and then you start hitting the court cards, where is it? The court cards, and it's each of the court cards now has something called the Royal Family. So it's a new way of teaching court cards. And what I have done was broken the court cards into a Royal Family, right? It's just so I didn't change the meanings of anything. Everything is the same meanings. It's just a way to correlate what the meanings are to the cards. It's a way to help you remember what each court card means, because that seems to be the most challenging for people. And so each court now has something that like it governs. So you have the Royal Family of Wands, for example, right? They have their family emblem, which is a salamander, by the way. The salamander and wands, there's salamanders all over the wands cards, right? The elemental, but now we've turned it into a family emblem, with the idea being it helps you pinpoint it when you see it pop out. And then I have the like astrological associations when it comes to the court cards. And then we have a breakdown of like what that means, right? Like what the court cards actually govern. So the idea is that it's a royal family and they govern something, right? So the Royal Family of Wands, the wand court cards, they govern your passion, your drives, anything that's fire related. They are in charge of that. They govern that. They rule over it. And it's a realm, right? So I've turned the court cards into a royal family and they have a realm that they govern, right? And through that, it's just another way of teaching what court cards do and like the energies that can be applied towards it. It's a new teaching method. I came up with it. I'm hoping that like it resonates with people. And then every card has a title. Every card was given a title that I like sat on and like came up with a title being something to jog your memory again, right? So there's so many things in here that's just meant to jog your memory, jog your memory, jog your memory. That's all that it's doing, right? So some of the things in here, if you're reading it, may feel a little bit kitschy, but it's all like super deliberate. Because even if you think it's like the dumbest thing ever, it's one of those things that even if you think it's so dumb, you'll remember it because you think it's so dumb, right? It's just meant to jog your memory. We talk about the cards, we talk about the meaning of the cards, and then there's an area where it applies to your actual life. So the card meaning, and then an example of like how you would actually see it in your day-to-day. Then there's an affirmation that goes with it. And then we also have journal prompts that's in here as well for you to sort of look at what's going on in your own life. So the first journal prompt, just for this is Page of Wands. So I'll just read it randomly. The first journal prompt was, reflect on a recent moment of inspiration or a new idea that sparked your curiosity. How did it make you feel? And what steps can you take to explore it further? So the idea being that it's interactive as you're learning, which is, again, more ways to help you jog your memory, and then have associations, like your own personal associations to each of the cards to like help you remember. And then one thing that came out of that, and this is just this is just one of those sort of behind the scenes that like isn't really a big deal, but because we're talking about it, there was actually talks with the publisher about what to do with some of these pages, right? So like with this page, it has all these journal prompts, and the journal prompt ends here, but then you can see how it's like empty space. And then and that's only just because of just like formatting. You can't really control like the words cut off when they cut off. And then so sometimes just some pages may have this much empty space, some may have this much empty space, right? But behind the scenes of like there was conversations about this of like, what do we do with this empty space for some of these pages? And then what I ended up saying to the publisher was like, you know what, just leave it, because we talked about, well, should we try to cut it down? Should we try to remove some of those pages to make it like a smaller book? Because each page is money, right? Everything that you print on, it costs money and the price just goes up. And so what I ended up saying to the publisher, and I'm like super happy that they were like, okay, no problem. I was like, I have a feeling people may want to like write notes or like write their reflections about whatever it is down. And they would probably use the empty space to do that. So as opposed to like going backwards and trying to figure out how to remove some things, just keep it for people to use. And so it's in here for you to use. And I believe I wrote a note somewhere in the beginning that actually says to you, feel free to write in the book, right? Because sometimes people get it and they're like, I don't want to mess it up. And I'm like, no. You have my blessing to mark it, to highlight it, to color it, to leave notes in it. Because the idea is supposed to be like your working book, your working guide. So yeah, pretty stoked. I mean, like, you guys, Pentacles, look at that. All of it. It's in there. All 78 of them. I did it. And it's crazy. And so now I got all these. Now, I don't know what this means. I guess this means with all these books in here, I have to start planning some events because I got to do something with this. But I a lot of books have stashed away in your house. But with all the books, how soon can we order? You can order right now. So you can go to Amazon. You can type in the Fool's Guide to Tarot on Amazon. It'll pop right up and you can pre-order it now. And it'll ship when it's released, and it's released on the 26th of November. I'm one of those people who don't write in books other than my schoolwork books. Yeah, some people, they don't write in it. But if you want to write in this one, you've got my blessing. Seriously, I don't care. I'm unoffended. You know what I mean? Do what you got to do. Mark it up, fold the pages down. I don't care. You know what I mean? Whatever helps you feel like you got to do what you need to do in order to learn. Also, this book, like it breaks in. It's really interesting because these books, because they're new and like untouched, there is like a more stiffness to it. It's a new kind of stiffness. But this one I've just been carrying around, not doing anything with it, but just carrying it around, sniffing it all the time. And then just by me holding it, it like softens up and it like breaks in. It's actually quite nice and quite soft. I like that. And then so what I've decided to do was this helped me like rethink my personal goals. And so what I ended up doing was this. I decided from this point forward, anything that I create, I'm now going to blow it up and frame it. And my new goal in life is that 10 years from now, I want to walk into my home office and I want it to feel like a museum. And 20 years from now, I want it to feel like a bigger museum. And I've decided I'm going to start patting myself on the back for doing really cool shit. And so this is what we're going to start with. I actually wanted to blow it up bigger than this, but I couldn't do it with the resolution that I had. This was as big as I can get it before it got weird and blurry. But I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it, and I'll probably try again and do it, later at a different time. Try to blow it up again. But I'm gonna make my own museum. My own things to look at, because I figured how many things, and I think this applies to a lot of people. Like, how many cool things have you done just in life? You celebrated it really quick, and then you like quickly moved on. And so my thing is, if I blow it up, frame it, hang it on a wall, and it's at a place where I'm regularly walking past it. I can't do that to myself anymore. I no longer want to do that to myself. I want to like really sit in my own stuff. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. So that's my new goal for my life. I want to curate my own personal museum of me, you know? Jay says congratulations. Thank you. Yes, and yes, Crystal, you cut alive and I ain't driving this time. Good, good, good. I like how flexible it looks. It is. It's very I don't know how to explain it. It's flexible, it's smooth. It has a good book feel. Like it has a solid weight to it. And like it has a it's like a it's a nice thing to hold in your hand. I've thrown it in my bag. It's a good book feel. I like it. And I was shocked too, because I remember when I first pulled it out going, oh my God, it looks like a book. Like, yeah. So it's yeah, I'm really stoked about it. You can overcome the resolution issue by vectorizing it, but you likely have to use AI or Adobe Illustrator to overcome that. Yeah, you know how I could have also too contacted the publisher for like a better image, but I was in one of my sort of like manic moments where I was like, I gotta frame it now. And like I didn't want to wait for them to respond. So I literally saved the image off of the internet from like I literally went to Amazon, right clicked it, and then like downloaded it like that, and then used that file and then sent it to Shutterfly because I was just so excited with the idea of it that like it didn't cross my mind of like how many better ways can I do this. It was just like do it now while you're thinking of it, and then that was what I came up with. I am Lisa says, congratulations. Thank you so much. Could the publisher give you one of their promotional posters if they made some? That'd be so cool too. I don't know if they have any promotion. That's actually a good question. I have to ask them. I'm not actually sure if they have any promotional posters. It didn't cross my mind to even ask. That's such a good idea though, right? Rav says, so fresh and so clean. A great way to go deeper into tarot, regardless of experience level. Also, do you remember the first tarot deck you got your hands on? Someone asked me this question the other day. I do, but I don't remember the name. Well, maybe I can find it really quick. 1 second. Because it wasn't the Rider-Waite, but I remember it being a deck that was not helpful. It wasn't helpful. And I couldn't read it, and it was really annoying to me. And is this it? That's not it. I don't know the name. I'm on all I know is that it's mini. It's a mini deck and it's sold in Barnes and Noble and they sell it in the impulse buy area. And they've been selling it in that area for literally as long as I can remember. Like it's been in the same place for well over a decade in like Barnes and Noble. And it's this big, seriously. And that was the first one I got my hands on. And I didn't learn with that one. I found it very confusing because it's more of a pit deck. And but that's where it started. I ended up getting a different deck after that, but that was where it started. And it followed me everywhere. I remember when I first got the deck, I felt really bad. I thought I was going to go to hell for it, or that there was going to be some kind of dark entity that was going to pop out of a closet. And so I got it, but then I didn't have fun trying to read it. Or so I would like pull it out, lay all the cards out, get scared, and then I would quickly put it back. And then what ended up happening was for a few years, I buried it in the back of my underwear drawer. And it was specifically because every time I kept it out, I felt like it gave me heebie-jeebies, which I now know was because of like my own internalized stuff with it. But I kept it in the back of my underwear drawer for forever. But what made it different than like other things that I owned was every time I would move, I always was like, make sure you pack that thing. Even though I was kind of scared of it, even though I didn't really know how to read it yet, I always was like, make sure you pack that thing. And even when I would travel and I was in different countries, it always made it in my suitcase. And it followed me everywhere. And I was always like, I need to have that. And I need to bring it with me. So yeah. But I don't know. I don't remember what it's. Let me see. Let me go through a couple more. First page? Is it on the first page of? No, I don't see it. I don't see it on here. I'm on Amazon. Trying to hoping that I get lucky. That it's like the first couple of pages. but I don't see it. I also don't really see it often on Amazon either, too. So that's probably why I don't see it. Speaking of Amazon, The Fool's Guide to Tarot is starting to rank on Amazon now. I'm like thrilled. I checked it. I do this thing with like every couple of days. I'll check Amazon. I'll type in tarot book. That's it. And then I'll check to see how it's doing that day, right? And so like when I first did it, like when the pre-orders first opened and I first did it, like I would go all the way to page 7 and then it just wouldn't be there, right? And I would be like, that's okay. It's all right. It's okay. It just wouldn't be there. I checked it today and it hit the first page without being sponsored. So like on its own, without any ad money on it, it hit the first page today. Sometimes like with ad money on it, it'll hit the second page or something like that. But today it did well. Today it hit the first page with no ad money on it. And I'm like, okay, all right, we're starting to cook. We're starting to cook because if you can get it to hit one of those pages and like it can stick, I just got to, if we can get it to stick there and then like to get through the whole pre-order phase, then like it should do well. I should like be able to be like, okay, let me work on my next project. It should more or less flux, because my goal is just to have it in those first 7 pages. You know how Amazon gives you 7 pages of product? My goal is just to have it there so people can see it, because if it falls off the 7 pages, people won't know that it exists and that you can even buy it, and then that just messes up with the numbers and the rankings and the sales and whatever. So my goal is that we just stay on those 7 pages, So yeah. So today I had a good day. Today I was thrilled. I was thrilled. Anyway, you guys, outside of book stuff, I do have a message for you. I did not come empty-handed. I would never do that to you. Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to speak for my future moods. I had to write it down because it was 2 weeks. 2 weeks had gone by. And I wasn't sure if I was going to remember it. Okay, so what came through for you guys is, one, whatever you got cooking is on its way in, right? But there's like this message of just hold steady, don't give up on it, but it's on its way in. And there is like this feeling of, okay, so what happens, right, when things are about to start coming in is that like your vision gets stronger. There's this thing that happens where like you can see it, right? You can sense it, you can feel it, you know it, you can see it, you know that you have this thing that's coming for you, that's meant to come for you whenever it's supposed to hit, but there's something that has got your name on it, right? It's this feeling of like feeling more confident in the vision and feeling more confident in what you can see. But now there's like this feeling of like outside resistance, right? And so what happens is that like sometimes when you start moving off your own vision and you're moving metaphysically, when you start moving off of things that you can see, so maybe there's no reflection that's happening right now, like outside reflection. Like internally, something is about to pop off, but you don't have any outside evidence to be able to prove what it is that on a metaphysical kind of level, right? When you fall into that stage, what ends up happening is that to other people, you look like you're moving different. To yourself, it feels like you are moving in alignment with that thing that is about to come in for you, right? Again, you can feel it, you can sense it, you can see it. And so you're moving in alignment with it. You're moving in accordance with it, right? And so you may start to other people sounding different. Maybe you sound a little bit more optimistic. Maybe you sound a little bit more positive, or maybe you start making decisions that are also in alignment with that. But because other people can't see what you see, to other people, it looks a little bit crazy. It looks like you are a little bit out of control, or that you're making decisions that like they wouldn't be making, or that your thinking is a little bit weird. And people are like, but why are you moving that way? Why do you think that way? Why are you so positive about it? And you're like, because I know. And people are like, okay, but like, I don't know, right? Like you need to slow down, or you need to stop, or maybe did you take a minute to really reconsider that thing that you're actually trying to pursue? And then what ends up happening is then you start doubting what it is that based off of what it is that you can see metaphysically. And then you think, well, am I crazy? Did I miss something? Is something going wrong here? And so the message that came through was nothing is going wrong. You're actually really close, but this is a sign that you're close, right? Because this is the moment when people would stop and turn around because they would think, oh shit, well, maybe I actually am a little bit off, right? It's a sign that you're close because you're moving in accordance energetically, but you are so now aligned with the thing that's coming in for you that to other people who don't have that metaphysical sight, it looks out of alignment, but they don't have an ability to see what it is that you can see. And so an example that I have for this is J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, the Harry Potter series, right? There is like that famous story with her where when it came to the first book, Philosopher's Stone, that turned into the Sorcerer's Stone, that she was rejected 12 times, like to get it published. Like she was rejected by 12 different publishers to get it published. And one thing about her that I found fascinating through the years, I was always really curious about what made her keep going. Like what motivated her to keep going. Like knowing myself, I may keep going after 5 rejections. But I, for myself, feel like if I hit 10 rejections, there's something about it being like a nice round number that I would go, okay, maybe I should reconsider. I don't think it would be a situation where I would stop altogether, but knowing myself, I would have been like, okay, well, maybe this isn't the book. Maybe I should write a different kind of book, right? I would have done that, right? But something I still would have stopped and I would have done some kind of detour, right? And so over the years, I've always been really intrigued by what made her do it the 11th time and like what made her do it the 12th time, especially 12. Like that's such a weird number. It's not a master number. Like the vibration of 12 is just so not a manifestation vibration, right? So I'm like, why did she do it that many times? What kept her going? Because surely by that point, you're so discouraged. To have created something, you're obviously really sure about it, or you wouldn't have done it that many times. But why are you still going? Like, what's pushing you? And I stumbled across like a really old clip of one of her interviews, and it was an Oprah interview. And in that clip, she said what ended up happening, which is fascinating. In this clip, she said that she had a clairvoyant thought, I think she called it. And she also kind of referred to it as a little crazy. And essentially what she was trying to explain was that she had a download. We just didn't use those words at that time. She actually had a download prior to even pursuing the publishing process that it would be really, really, really hard for her to get it published. But after she got it published, it would be huge. She had a download of that. And that is what kept her going. That is why she kept trying and kept trying and kept trying and kept trying, because even though she was being hit with so much rejection, she had like metaphysical information that was just going to be part of the process, but the shit was going to blow up, and she knew it. And so she just pushed through it. And then when I saw that clip, I was like, that's what it was. She just always knew. And I think about the people that like surround me, right? I've got a lot of metaphysical friends, and I watch them and I'm always so in awe of them and so inspired by them, because on the outside, it may look like it's trials and tribulations, but then they'll say things to me like, no, Mystic Rainn, like, I know it's going to work. And I'm like, I don't doubt it. Because you saw it. Like this level of grit to keep going only comes from people that have already seen the future. Like that level of grit without having any additional information is really difficult to sustain. It's only because you have you have additional information that helps you have the grit. And so anyway, I say all of that to say that whatever it is that you know is supposed to happen for you, this is a moment where it's now time for you to use your grit and keep going. And people around you, because your energy is now becoming in alignment with that thing that's actually supposed to be yours, it's no longer that old frequency that you were carrying. It will look maybe a little bit crazy to other people who don't have an ability to understand what you're doing or why you're actually doing it. But if you feel like you're being hit with resistance in that kind of way, it's just a sign that you're like on the cusp of it, and to keep going. Other people have sensed the shift. They just don't understand what they sensed. They don't understand that it's a shift. And even if they did understand it, they wouldn't have the vocabulary to explain what it was that they were actually sensing in the first place. But what's happened is that they've even picked up on the shift, right? you're changing in terms of like how you're moving, how you're thinking, your mindset, how you're pursuing things, because you are falling into alignment with the energy. You're falling in alignment with the frequency, you're falling in alignment with the vibration. And so you as an individual are shifting, right? You are like upgrading, you're moving on up. People can sense that. And so if you feel like you have been getting a little resistance, that's actually like that's what's happening right now. This all rings close to me in my process of eventually becoming a video game developer. I love it. My biggest source of resistance is that the game idea I had so grand that I think people would think I'm batshit insane, but I know I can do it, even though a lot of this stuff is out of my field. Like I have a background in the sciences, but I improved my art skills, wrote a super long story for it and all of this, but I just know it'll work. My biggest things were how'd I make it happen, in addition to my idea being so big. I think your idea is the perfect size. I don't think it's too big. I think your idea may seem big in comparison to the majority of people who have either small ideas or no ideas at all. Society does not teach you to dream, and society doesn't train you to have your own ideas. And so, any idea that you have that is authentic to you, especially when you're allowing yourself to pursue it for the first time, is going to feel big, right? Because it's not a habit that you're practicing, right? You're out of the habit, so to speak. And so when you get back into the habit of pursuing your truth and like what's authentic for you, it's going to feel big, but it's not. I don't think it's big in terms of being too big. Personally, I look at this and I go, well, how could you make it bigger? Like you want to be like a developer, that's great. You want to own a company, you want to have multiple games, you want to go public, how much money you want to make, you want to make millions. I feel like we can really stretch this out, you know. It may feel big just because this is like you embarking on your truth in a way that's authentic and maybe perhaps for the first time, and so it may just feel a little bit big, but I personally feel like that's liberating to be like, all right, I'm gonna like y'all should see the shit on my list, seriously. One day when the shit pops off, then I'll show you my list. And I don't know when that's gonna happen, but one day when the shit pops off, I'm gonna show you my list. I always have like this like vision of someone saying to me like in the future, someone going, "Wow, like did you have any idea that that would happen?" And then my response being, "Yup, I knew it was all gonna happen." Yeah, for me, I was thinking like owning my own studio and extending the title to like 3 to 4 titles or something, but I can go on about this for a long. Do it. Do it. Because the only thing that would stop you from doing it is you. And that goes for literally everything. And it applies to literally everyone. The only thing that'll ever stop you from doing anything you want to do is you. And that could be your fears, your insecurities, all of your self imposed limitations, the feelings about whether or not you feel like you are worthy, whether or not you're deserving, getting in your own head about what you feel like other people may or may not think about you. But the only thing that'll ever stop you from doing what you want to do is you, because you're the only one that has the ability to pull the trigger. Now, it may be a situation where other people around you are talking shit or, maybe acting kind of mean. And maybe, right, you succumb to that and you allow it to affect you, which then affects your decision. But the only person that has the ability to pull the trigger either way is you. This is so true. I've recently entered my Delulu phase where if it feels possible, it is possible. It's everything is possible. My thinking is if you can see it, whether it's a daydream, whether it's in your mind's eye, whether it's because you can sense it or feel it, if you can see it, then it exists, because you can't see something that doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, what's there to see? If you can see it, it means it exists. It's just about figuring out what timeline it's on and then going into that timeline that it's on, or bringing it to this particular timeline. But none of this stuff is being created out of thin air. If you can see it, it's because it exists already. If you can dream it, it's because it exists. It didn't just come out of thin fucking air. If you can sense it, it's in your field already, or you wouldn't have an ability to perceive it. Whatever it is, it's because it's in your field. You can perceive it because it's in your field. The trick is just aligning to which part of the field that it's actually in. But if you could perceive it, that means that it's there. And I think it's so crazy, like even when we say like the Delulu phase, which is so funny because like I totally get it, but like then I like zoom out and I think about society as a whole, that like society's conditioning is so strong that we think that pursuing the thing that lights us up maybe is a little bit delusional. Like, wow, like talk about the grip that society has on us. Like, what if it was just like normal? Like, how much further would we go and how much faster would we get there if we now approached everything that we wanted to do as being something normal? As if we like looked at those 4 video titles and was like, yeah, that's normal. Like, I wake up every day and I work on this because like that's normal. That's just my day-to-day thing. That's my day-to-day routine. If we normalize what it was that we were after, instead of approaching it from like we're here and then it's all the way over there, because what we're doing is othering it. We're making it the other. And then we're putting distance in between us and then the other. And then unfortunately, the distance that we choose to put in the middle is usually related around self-worth and whether or not we believe we're good enough for it. But what if we were just like, no, that's normal for me. Like, this is just what I do now. It's so true, right? That's such a great way of thinking it. Easier to explain than saying it in my Delulu era. Yeah, just made it normal. And one thing about making it normal, I'm going to tell you something. Once you fall into that rhythm, it's going to trigger everyone around you. That, like, if the fastest way to see who's around you that actually believes that they don't have any self-worth, that they can't do it, that they don't deserve it, is for you to start pursuing things as normal. Everyone around you, you be amazed at how fast shit just starts to get triggered in other people. And you're going to be looking at them like, why are you freaking out? Like, this is not even that big of a deal. And they're going to be freaking out at you because they're going to be like, but why are you acting like this is not a big deal when it's supposed to be such a big fucking deal? I had this conversation with somebody, and like, I'm the type of person who like it's a mindset thing and it works for me. Right. But I'm the type of person that, like, I don't know. How do I explain this? Okay. So the conversation that I was having with someone, I don't want to blow them up on the internet. Right. But essentially we were talking about like money and stuff like that. And we were talking about like goals for the future, right? And then so I'm very like, sometimes I may freak out about money, but I would say more or less I'm more nonchalant than I am than anything else. One, I've been broke, I've been poor multiple times, right? So it's a feeling of like, well, shit, I'm not going to stay there if it happens again. I know I'm going to come out of it, right? But then there's also this feeling of not being as afraid as maybe someone else who hasn't experienced true poverty, because it's like, been there, done that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'll survive. I know I'm going to be really fucking uncomfortable, but I know I'm not going to die. You know, it's this kind of feeling. And then throughout my life, as I've learned to like adjust to maybe sometimes not having as much resources as I would prefer to have, through those lessons, I've just learned along the way that if I chill the fuck out, it'll show up. But I gotta relax. That the more panicked I am, the harder it is to get my hands on money or to get my needs met. But when I just like chill out and like let things unfold around me, it's just a trend that things start falling into place. And so I'm more nonchalant about it. I'm the type of person that's like, all right, let's say I know in like 2 years from now, this isn't a real scenario, but like, let's say it was. Let's say I know in 2 years from now, I'm going to need $50,000 for X thing. Even if I don't have it now, I'm the type of person that's like, it'll show up, right? 2 years, it'll show up. It's fine. Like, I'm not the type of person that'll sit there and then freak out about where it's going to come from. I'm like, it'll show up. Either it'll show up or the thing I had to pay for will reduce in price or it'll go away altogether. It'll show up, like whatever, right? But the person that I was talking to, they were like, but how can you do that? And I was like, what? And they were like, but like, how can you not want to make a plan? And I was like, but that is my plan. And it triggered them. It triggered them so bad that I was so relaxed about feeling like I would be taken care of. And they had convinced themselves that they would not be taken care of. Henceforth, why the pressure to plan for something, they hold all that anxiety. And I was like, your blood pressure is so high right now. For what reason? For what reason? First of all, this is a made up scenario. Like, we're talking about something that like doesn't exist, probably will never exist. And like, look at what's happening to your like nervous system right now, right? Over a fake scenario. So how are you going to live when it's like a real scenario, right? And they were like, but how do you live not being worried about it? Because I know it's showing up. I know it's showing up. Good. What's there for me? Look, why? But sometimes it is harder for people to do nothing. A lot of people, and again, this is also just social conditioning. People think that you have to be doing something all of the time. And that when you're not doing anything, that means something is wrong or you're doing something wrong. And so the idea of like me feeling chill with not doing anything about it is enough to trigger people, right? But me being chill about not doing anything about it is because I'm working with metaphysics. That's it. I know that whatever I need will just show up. And I also know that if I don't need it, it's not going to show up. And that's just kind of how it works. And I'm all right, cool, whatever. But when you have attachments to that and you have attachments to outcome and you feel like you have attachments to certainty, which really actually isn't certainty. You think it's certainty because you think, well, where's that $50? If I just had an answer for where the 50,000 is going to come from, you think it's certainty, but it's not. Because even if you got the answer for where it's going to come from, you're then going to spend the rest of the time freaking out, trying to make sure it shows up in that one very specific kind of way, instead of just being like, la-di-da. I'm the type of person that I love being like, well, what if I don't have to pay for it at all? That is actually what I would prefer. People think that like, oh, money comes first. For me, it is the bill disappearing. That for me is first. That's my preference. I would prefer not to have to pay for it or not to have to touch it, or for someone to contact me and be like, oh, there was a mistake in our calculation and the amount is actually reduced. It's actually not this high. Or we thought it would be due at this time, but there was a mistake there. It's actually due 2-3 months from now. Like, I'm one of those people, like erase the shit, lose it, right? Like, have a computer error, get hacked, you know? I'm one of those. That is my preference. And then the second preference is the money to show up in order to take care of it. But people don't think like that. Like, people don't think that there's like other alternatives for how it can happen. There's also this idea that like somebody else can come in and take care of it too. They can do it. Like, there's so many ways for like obstacles to be removed and things to be taken care of, that you're like, when you're moving from a metaphysical perspective, there's just less things to worry about because you know you got options. There's a lot of ways here for things to get cleared out. But when you're not moving from that space, you think there's only one way for it to be cleared out. You think everything is on you. The burden is on you to do everything by yourself. And you're stressed out. You're feeling like you can't do it by yourself, or that you're not worthy of getting whatever resources you need in order to do it by yourself. It's crazy. It's absolutely wild. It's absolutely wild. Like, I went and got another car. What was it, last weekend? It was last weekend. Remember I was talking to you guys about mahogany seats? And I was like, I'm going to get my hands on some mahogany seats. I didn't get my hands on mahogany seats, but I did get my hands on some terracotta seats. And when I tell you, if somebody told me ahead of time that terracotta seats would trigger so many men in a dealership, I would have said to them that they were lying to me. I had never seen so many men be triggered by a woman who had the resources to go get her some terracotta seats. They was mad. And I was like, it'll come back. Ebb and flow. Money comes and money goes. Money ebbs and money flows. That's what it's supposed to do. And I can get terracotta seats because I'm not worried about it. But you would be amazed. I'm pretty sure I got someone fired at the dealership too. Like, it was really bad. Like, it was really bad. Terracotta thieves do look nice. That's exactly how I feel towards my game development stuff, thinking, yeah, it'll happen, but I always keep wanting to make a plan as to how it'll happen, but then I go back to knowing it'll happen. I don't have a plan for any of the shit that I do. I'm not saying do what I do. I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm not saying it's responsible. But I'm saying I don't actually have a plan for anything that I do. And the reason why I don't have a plan, and this is just transparency, is because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. It may look like I do, but I don't know what I'm doing. And when I realized I don't know what I'm doing, it was easier for me to be like, all right, well, what's the point of putting a plan together if I don't actually know what I'm doing? So I flow, right? So I allow myself to be guided. A lot of what I do is heavily spiritually guided. There was some kind of spirit that was consulted in the process, right? Like, people will say, well, how did you figure that out? And I'm like, because I summoned them. Okay. Like, you don't even understand the size of this spirit team here and the amount of spirits that's over there and making the decisions for me. And I'm just following and I'm just going in line, right? So one of the things I do is I'm just in flow. The second thing I do is seek help from experts. I have had to accept that there's a lot of shit that I'm good at, and there's a lot of shit that I'm not good at, and the shit that I'm not good at, go get some help. And pay the people, because you'll get the money back. It's called an investment. Just like, go get some help, pay the people, and then have them, because I'm going to sit here and I'm going to drive myself crazy. And because I don't know what I'm doing, because it's not my skill set, I'm going to think that I'm doing everything wrong. I'm going to take that and then apply it to everything, think I'm doing everything wrong. And because nothing is moving, because I'm really dabbling things that are not my skill, right? Not because things are inherently not moving. It's probably because I'm just not doing the right thing because it's not my skill. I will then take that, color the whole thing, and then say none of it's working, which isn't true. I just need to stay in my lane and do my role. And I've only recently accepted that my role is just Mystic Rainn. That's it. The rest of this stuff, my role is to show up as Mr. Rainn, and then that's it. And then go home. You know what I mean? But like, the rest of this is not my role. You know, I'm not good at it. I don't know. And the truth of the matter is, some of this stuff, I don't have any interest in trying to be good at it. But then I'll hold myself accountable and be like, oh, it's not working because of me. And that's not true. So I've also just go get some help. I was wondering if you got your car. I did. So I said at the time, when I was like, either give me the mahogany seats or I want something better. That's actually what ended up happening. I actually ended up walking away with something better, right? Very happy with the car, actually, by the way. But it triggered a lot of men. Like, one of the men that got triggered was the finance guy, because he saw me. I walked in, because remember I told you my thing is I walk in with you go in with a tire wig, some sweatpants, so they can't get an idea of what you're working with and your resources, which is what I did and was heavily judged. I personally feel like it was like discrimination level of judgment. Like I've actually been thinking, like, should this go further than like what it did? Like, we're talking like judged so bad that I, as a Black woman, walked into the finance office of a white man, of a hetero white man. He ran my credit, pulled it up, and because I could see his screen, and then said, "Oh, wow. So someone like you doesn't miss payments." Like, the level of offensive, like, it was a wild day. I was there for 7 hours. By the time I had walked out, they all were fighting with each other, and I'm pretty sure I got the man fired. Seriously. Like, he was talking all types of crap, and then he started talking crap about like my money and why would I was spend it. Essentially what ended up happening was that the car that I wanted, I saw a car that was a better car. It was like a higher car, like a higher model kind of car, right? And it one with all the bells and the whistles and the features, right? I'm the type of person that's like, well, if you want bells and whistles cost money. And I like a bell and whistle and I'll throw some money at it. I'm just like that. Okay. And I do that with everything. I do that with appetizers at Chili's. If there's a bell and a whistle and I want it and I have the resources to have the bell in the whistle, I'm throwing money at it. I don't give a fuck if it's like spinach dip and chili dippers and queso with fancy meat in it. If there's bells and whistles and I have the resources, we're throwing money at it. That's just what I do. Okay. And like don't let me hit the outlets on a Saturday morning. Okay. And like, so yeah, there was a better car with bells and whistles. And my thing is you pay for bells and whistles. You're not gonna get that for the same price as you're gonna get like a base model. You know what I mean? Anyway, the assumption was I didn't have an ability to pay for the bells and whistles. That was how we started at the dealership. Around nothing but hetero men. You can picture how the rest of the shit fucking unfolded from there. Okay. And it got so bad. It like I had never seen like the money blocks that I saw on these men, how the shit got flipped and thrown around. It was the weirdest thing I had ever seen. The white finance guy said to me, he said, well, if I had, and this is how I knew it was a money block, if I had what you had, I wouldn't do that with it. And I had to be like, well, it sounds like you don't have what I have. Like, it was really bad. Then he started talking shit about some of the other salesmen because the other salesmen, it looks like, this was my gauge. My gauge was that the other salesmen, they do well for themselves. And my gauge was that not only do they do well from themselves, they reward themselves for doing well for themselves. And my gauge was that this white hetero man did not like that. And he was jealous and he was spitting. He was talking so much shit. He pissed me off so bad. And then I was so mad by the end of it because it was just so disgusting. And it was so aggravating to have a man look at you in the face and be like, oh, you don't look like someone that's going to miss payments. And then see your credit score and then go, wow, like, fuck you. You know what I mean? So I was like, as a matter of fact, I'm kind of over this narrative. Give me back my old keys to the other car because I was trading in. And then I was like, I'm done. So then he was like, what? And I was like, I'm not doing this. Give me back my old keys and then undo the paperwork because they had already processed the trade. The insurance had been processed. So the insurance for my old car had already been removed. The insurance for this new car that I was supposed to be getting had already been added. Like everything had been done. The only thing that was left was to sign on the dotted line. And then this white man just started fucking losing his mind, right? And then so I was like, give me my old keys back. And I was like, you're going to have to unprocess everything that you just processed. And then I was like, and somebody in here better help me fix my fucking insurance because I got to undo my insurance. And I'm going to need this dealership to say, y'all fucked up. And that's why we're going backwards, right? And give me my fucking car back. Give me my plate back. Give me my shit back. And I was like, because even though I'm willing to spend the money, you've pissed me off and I would prefer not to do it here. You know what I mean? So then now he has to call in one of the managers because he can't unprocess the shit himself. So now they're like, wait a minute, you're about to lose this deal for this fucking car. So you're telling me that we've got the perfect fucking customer and you done pissed this woman off so bad. What the fuck did you say? And she's about ready to walk from this shit? No, we can't have that. So then one of the managers come in and then they bring in the big boss, right? The person that runs the damn dealership. They bring him in, right? So now they're like, oh my God, what happened, right? So the white guy, so this is all happening in one tiny office, right? All the back and forth. So the white guy comes in because now he's in save his ass mode. He's in save his job mode, right? So he hits me with the, oh, no, you misunderstood what I was saying because the big boss and the other manager are also in the office. And I was like, well, then let me repeat back word for word what you said. And when I tell you, I was like, you don't think I'm about to spend all this money here and you're going to walk away fucking scot-free, do you? Right? So then he's like, oh, no, that's not what I mean. So the big boss is looking at him like, really? You said that? Because I also started saying the shit that he was saying about them. He was talking shit about all of them, all the people that fucking work there, the shit that they say. And I was like, oh, by the way, let me tell you what he said about this. So white man excuses himself, right? And so it's just the big boss and the manager. So they're very confused. And I said, oh, by the way, there's some more things that he said you should probably know about it. And he said this about you, and he said this about you. So you probably want to like watch what he be like, what you say around him. Because I think he has an issue with you. And so y'all are going to have to sort this out the way you want to sort it out. And then I was like, and give me my keys back. So then they're like, whoa. One of the men looked like he was about to cry. Like not even like fake salesman's cry, like real deal. His feelings were hurt and his eyes were moist. And I could tell that like he was really trying to fight the shit back, right? And I was like, somebody better give me my keys back, right? And then so they were like, okay, hold on. Like, we got to think what's going on. Because now they're confused. They're trying to figure out what the fuck was said. Why was it said? When like, what the fuck this guy is really saying and what he's really thinking. I'm pissed as fuck. And then I'm also mad because I was like, how dare you not only say that rude ass shit, but then project all your fucking money blocks onto me and then blow up my fucking good day that I was about to fucking have, right? Like, what the fuck was that about? So now I'm mad about that. So then at one point I was like, can I talk to my husband, please? And then I kicked them all out of their office, right? So the white guy that started the whole shit, it's originally his office. All of them, like, I kicked them all out. I said, I need time to think, right? So white guy literally lingered outside of his office for like 2 hours. That's how much time I took to think. The reason why it took me 2 hours is because I even said to my husband, I said, honey, I need some silence. I'm going to go into my meditation. And what I was doing with that, I went into my meditation, I beamed up, and then I called down my spirit team. And the reason why I did that was, one, I needed to get back center to what it was that I had already knew. Now, here was what I had already known about the car in a metaphysical way. Prior to even wanting mahogany seats to begin with, I had actually had a vision of a car. I had a vision of the car. I had a vision of myself driving a car. I had a vision of what color the car was, and the car itself had brown seats. That's why initially I was stuck with mahogany, because mahogany can be like a red brown, and that was the first one that I saw. So I thought maybe that was what it was. Before this car, the car I had before that, I had a vision the same way. I had a vision that I had a car. It was a dark colored car. It was a truck, like a big SUV. And I had a vision that it was parked inside of a garage. And I remember thinking, that's really weird because I drive a sedan and I don't have a house with a garage. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Where is this car coming from and why is it in a garage? I don't even have a garage. 30 days later, not only did I have that car, I had moved into a house and I had a garage, right? Now, how I got there was some fuck shit. It was a situation where like, it was a suspected home invasion attempt. Like I had to call the cops at night and then I moved out immediately that next day. But the house was the first house I saw on Zillow. I applied before viewing it, got accepted right away. It was very seamless, very fast, very quick. It just moved. Next thing I know, I had another car. It was sitting in the garage, right? And so when it came to this car, knowing that I had brownish seats, I didn't even blink about it because I was like, I saw it already. This is how it works for me or whatever. So when I ended up finding the car and it was terracotta seats, it was a nice car. And I remember thinking, oh, I saw this car already, right? So even though it had bells and whistles and the price was more expensive because it had bells and whistles, I wasn't bothered by it because I had saw the car already, right? So I'm like, okay, I know I got the resources. We're good. It's fine. I like it. It's pretty. And, it goes vroom, vroom, whatever, right? But I was like, let me go talk to my spirit team. So I beamed up and I said to them, am I harming somebody by doing this? Because they're all fighting. It's making me feel like I'm making the wrong decision. Am I harming somebody by doing this? Spirit was like, no. And I said, okay, well, how do I know I'm making the right decision? And Spirit was like, do you want it? And I was like, yeah, I love it. And then Spirit was like, well, then that's the right decision. And I was like, and would this harm my resources going forward? And Spirit was like, no. And I was like, okay, which is what I thought, right? But I needed a moment to go back in the center to do what I already knew was the right thing to do. But because I was around all these people that were being whatever, I was like, oh my God, right? But anyway, 2 hours later, the guy came back in. I summoned him back in, right? I was like, you can come back into your office now. I said to him, you know what? I thought about it. I still don't like how this went down. Give me my keys back. Because he was like, because we had he was like, no, maybe you need some more time to think about it. I said, okay, hold on. Beam back up to the spirit team. I said, I got a question. The spirit team was like, yeah, I said, can I knock some money off of this for the inconvenience? Spirit was like, yeah. And I was like, can you tell me how much I can knock off for the inconvenience? And Spirit gave me like hard numbers. Spirit was like, you can knock this much off, but if you hit this threshold, they'll start to get sticky. Like they had hard numbers for me. You can get this down. You can get this down. I came out of my meditation like, bet. Called him back in and I was like, change that number to this, change that number to that, right? And then he was like, I can't even do that because the system won't allow me to do that. I was like, cool, give me my keys back. He was like, hold on, let me talk to the big boss. Talk to the big boss. Suddenly, this system could do it now. And what they ended up having to do was move the numbers in a different part of the system to make it equal out what I actually wanted, right? So he was right. The part of the system that he was in couldn't do it. They had to like finagle a different part of the system to make the numbers work out. But essentially, I was like, I want that down payment and I want that monthly payment. And then just told them, instead of doing that weird sliding scale that they try to make you, I was like, give me this number, give me this number. And I said, and if you can't give me those number or that number, give me my keys. And then because his ass is already grass, they figured it out. But it was 7 minutes of just 7 hours of upset men. I had never seen anything fucking like it. Over some terracotta fucking seats. I'm like, who would have thought that that would have triggered men so hard to like deal with their money blocks in that fucking moment? Like crazy. They hit me with someone like you. And I was like, elaborate, please. What does that mean? Elaborate. Let's hit all of these legally protected characteristics. Tell me what you mean by that. Like, it was ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. What they were fighting. Yeah, like it was oh my god, it was crazy. By the end of it, they were fighting each other, actually. By the end of the whole thing, they were arguing with each other. Like, I actually don't think that man has a job. They were fighting each other. It was really weird. I had never, it was beyond, because I aired the whole thing out. And I was like, he said this, he said that, he said this about this, he said this about you, blah, 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 blah. Because he walked in thinking that like he was the expert and I didn't know what I was doing. And then I was like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And I hit him with the thank you so much for trying to help me. I really appreciate it. Can you tell me more about that? Took all that shit and laid the shit out. And I was like, how fucking dare you? Like, it was really weird. And then he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for a misunderstanding. And I looked at him like, we didn't have a misunderstanding before that boss of yours walked in. You were very confident in the shit that you were actually saying. So what is it about me that you got a problem with? Is it my gender? Is it my color? Is it my resources? Is it the credit? What about me specifically did you have a problem with? Oh man, we're talking moist eyes. They were ready to cry. It was really crazy. It was really crazy. And I was so pissed. I was like, give me my keys back. And they were like, they didn't want to do that because the car I had returned that I've traded in was new. It was only a year old. And it was like no miles on it. They didn't want to give it back. They didn't want to give it back at all. I was like, give me the keys back. And I was like, and unprocess all that paperwork. When I tell you the last thing was just to sign, all finance guy had to do was just hand it over, let me sign it. That was all he had to do. And he was in his feelings and the whole thing just blew up. I walked in there. He looked at my face. Yeah, it was crazy. Look, it sounds like I fixed some issues they were having internally. I think I blew it up. They definitely had some. First of all, where's their HR? Because they were having some problems. They were having problems. I don't even like, man. So, but I did get brown seats, not mahogany. They're terracotta. The terracotta did look better than the mahogany. I'm very pleased with it. I'm not pleased with the whole process in order to get my hands on it, because the men thing, that was too much. I didn't think that needed to come with it, but I'm very pleased with the car, you know? Very pleased with it. And I feel the same way about cars that I feel about money. We'll see if I still want it in a couple of years, right? If not, I get another one and then give that one back. Cars are finicky these days because I don't really like, because the issue these days is that they're computers. Cars are computers now, but it's like it's new still, and like the computers malfunction. And like my thing is like even with this one, it's leased, because I'm like, did you fix the computers in it? Like, I don't want to start buying a techie car until I know that like the software is fixed. But as part of the reason why I traded the other one in, the software was getting laggy. I'm like, all right, they need to fix this. I'm not buying it, and so I traded it in. So it's one of those things where it was like, I don't know, they need to figure that out. Like all of them, all these car brands, all these new computers, like figure it out before I figure out what I want to do with it. Like the computers like crash. It's really wild to have like a whole thing and you're driving and the whole thing just shuts down. I don't know. They need to figure that out. I mean, the poor Waymo people like get stuck at like lights. Like, don't let a light be blinking, like a red light be out. The cars, poor things, they can't drive. Like the computers malfunction. I don't know. My mind goes, do you know who I am? I am renowned. That's so funny. Let me manifest my pocket flow into the point that I have that kind of interaction because I decided to walk into a dealership with tired brains and my scuff shoes to buy a new car. I will say this. It's not unplanned. I will say that. I know, like, I can be very, but I'm also not, I can be impulsive if it's like I'm gonna tell you where I'm impulsive. Fashion Nova. When they send me an email where it's like flash sale, 70% off, that's a problem for me. You know what I mean? But when it comes to like big things, that was something that I thought about for a long time. I plotted it out. I did some math, carried the one, had a trajectory type thing. And then like figured out how I was going to move. Right. But then when I do figure out how I'm going to move, I do make an entrance. I will say that has always been very fun for me. I have always enjoyed the bombshell drop. You know what I mean? Just for dramatic effect, just for flair, just to liven the mood. The men thing, that wasn't part of the plan. But Fashion Nova will get me that 70% off. Boohoo, Fashion Nova. Who else is like that for me? It used to be Forever 21. Until Forever 21 stopped making things for millennials. Once upon a time, it was for us. It's no longer for us, right? So it's no longer on my list. Amazon Prime Day used to be on the list until they started finagling the numbers a little bit too much for my comfort. So that's not the case. But a Fashion Nova, Impulse. And then a Saturday morning outlet run, Impulse. TJ Maxx. And a Marshalls, that can get me too. That'll get me. But a car, that's not. I thought about that one. I thought about it. I'm hoping for a story time of you going and to buy a luxury purse or something and seeing who tried to assume your character. Wait, and seeing who tried to assume my character. Wait, what does that mean? Seeing who tried to assume your character. But I will say, like, going in for like bags, I find I haven't had issues there because they're trained differently. And I also live in Atlanta. That could be a thing because people like me go into stores like that. People that look like me go into stores like that. So it's not necessary. The biggest issue that I have with Atlanta is that they have bouncers and they make you wait in line, and that should be annoying, right? But like, they're trained different. Like what are they called? I think they're called consultants. I don't even think they're called like sales associates. I think they're like consultants. They have a different training. They're actually trained not to judge people on how they look because they're taught that a lot of times it may be the people that are most unassuming that have the most amount of money. And so they're taught to like treat everybody the same. because they don't, to not lose the sale or something like that. So they actually have a bit of a different training. And they're also a lot more respectful. Like there's definitely a correlation between how much you're paying and like what you're like the service that you're getting for it. Like even this car situation, what I learned from that was that will be my last time at that kind of dealership. What I learned was that it was time for me to level up, is what I learned. Because truth of the matter is, if I did the same thing that I did there, but I did it at like, if I was trying to buy a Range Rover or I was like trying to get a top line Benz, if there, no one would have batted an eye. They would have been like, thank you for your purchase. They would have handed me the card reader and then that would have been the end of it. So I learned to move up, that it was time to move up. That's what I learned. But there's a correlation even when it comes to flying. Like I have a thing with flying, like they treat you better at Delta than they treat you at Spirit. You know what I mean? And they have different ways of treating you based on what class you're sitting in too. You know, like my husband he's the type of person that says we're all getting to the same place, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm rested and well fed. See you in approximately 4 or 5 hours. Like there have been people reporting how the sales team would treat a colored person versus a white person on TikTok. I believe that that's totally the case. It probably depends on where you're at. It's probably like region. I know in Atlanta, it's, you know, everyone looks, I look like everybody else. Like, so it's not so much. Atlanta has a bouncer problem, and Atlanta has a robbing problem. The biggest issue in Atlanta is that you don't want to be seen with bags because then you'll get robbed. So you have to like move quickly. Like I'm gonna tell you what you have. Okay, you want to know what you got to do? You got to get it, haul ass back to the car. Like you don't get it and then keep shopping in the area, or like if you're at a mall, you don't continue shopping. Like it's your last stop. You get it, you haul ass back to the car, because once they hand you that bag, you've been clocked, right? You haul ass back to the car, you get to the car, and then you hide it somewhere in the trunk. You don't want people to look through the window and then be able to see the bag, right? Then if you still want to continue to shop, you then move the car to a completely different area of the parking lot. Like we're talking like you move quadrants, right? So if you were parked outside of Macy's on the second floor, I need you to go all the way around, hit Dillard's, and go park on the first floor. Like you got to move your car because you've been clocked. You got to move and then go back in, and then go back in through a different entrance. And I'm gonna tell you, people know this. I have done this, and then when I was doing it, watch somebody watch somebody else do it, and then we ended up moving the cars to a similar area type shit. Got out and was like, "Oh, you!" And it was like a Spider-Man meme kind of thing, right? And then laughed because we were like, "Oh shit," you know what I mean? Like they're doing the same thing I'm doing, but that's how you have to do it in Atlanta. You don't linger. You know, you don't linger, and then preferably you don't even move the car. Preferably you go home. You just go home, because if they see you and then you leave the car, then they bust your windows out. Like as I say this out loud, it's like more and more outrageous. But you have to wait to get in for luxury bags. Yeah, depending on where you go. It depends on where you shop. But if you go to one of the stores that is just super popular with a lot of foot traffic, yeah, they have security at the door, and there's a long line. Like you would think it's a club, especially in Atlanta. It's a long line. And if you go to the outlets, it's a long, and you wait. Like the outlets in Atlanta with like Gucci, Burberry, there's a whole section. And if you go, and you can want to go do something, you can be wanting to get an Auntie Anne's pretzel. You can just be doing something different. You just have to walk in that direction to go get what you want, go get what you want to get. But if you have to walk past those stores, each store has security, and they have a line with the rope. Yep, some of them they have bouncers. And they have that clicky thing that is measuring how many people are going in and how many people are out, and they'll tell you to wait. They want to know how many people are in your party. And then some places, depending on how busy it is, you may get X amount of time to shop. if you are someone that looks like you are spending a certain amount of money, they may not bother you because you're spending, so the time may not fully apply to you. If you are someone that walks in and they can tell that you're not there to really spend money, they may ask you to leave or ask you to hurry up. Oh yeah. Dang, this sounds like a presidential evacuation situation. Let me put an asterisk next to Atlanta because I don't know about all that. I don't buy in Atlanta because of that reason. People know, like, you don't, there's certain like places that you don't go. You used to be able to go, but very recently, like, and I want to say around the same amount of time where like San Francisco started getting out of hand with people busting out windows. Same thing in Atlanta. Like, you used to be able to go to those places, but it's just like not a thing. You probably don't want to be in those areas because if someone sees it, they're gonna try to take it from you. And so people don't really do it anymore. If you go to the outlets, because it's about an hour and a half outside of like the city, it's a bit better, but same thing. Get your stuff, get in the car, go home. Just get out of Dodge. And then so it's best to like go to other places. Like I would say if you're in the Atlanta area, another area to look at if you feel like driving or flying would be just go to Jacksonville and get your stuff from there. Or call around and you can get it shipped in. But I think some people probably would want the experience. That's the case for some places here in Toronto as well. Really? But it's only some places like Pandora. They don't take that many security measures, but it's increased a lot in the recent years. Girl, I would never go shopping, but thanks for the tea. Now I know how to move different. Yo, when my husband first moved here and then we went shopping, I was like, get your shit. He was like, what? I was like, get your shit. Like, keep the head on the swivel. And then I like grabbed because he was walking slow. He was taking photos and shit, being real fucking scenic. I was like, hustle. I need you to move your feet, okay? Or lose your seat. That we're not getting got out here. Like, I need you to chin up. I need you to look around. As a frequent visitor to Atlanta, this is facts. They live that slime lifestyle. If I'm traveling, the last thing I need to do is consider hiring security while I be a tourist. Oh my gosh. Well, I think that maybe why they do it, because I think it's probably tourists, people that don't know. And so they do it because it's easy and it's quick and it's fast. Because people that live here won't get it from there. They won't go there. There's actually even like a joke, like even like the one mall that sells all that stuff, it's called Lenox. I haven't been there in years, specifically for that reason. You don't go because that mall, it just gets shot up. It's the nicest one with the most expensive things and stores in it. It's the biggest one, and then people just lose their mind and like that's where the mass shootings happen, in that mall. So, but Pandora is wild, but the Pandora's here too. They also have like lines. I don't think I've seen security at a Pandora yet, but I do see like crazy long lines. So maybe they'll probably have them in the future. Yeah. Crazy, huh? Anyway, I don't know how I got all the way off topic. This was supposed to be spirituality, and I'm telling you how to go get bags. Listen, I'm gonna take myself to sleep. And I'm gonna go live my life, okay? And you guys should go do the same, all right? I'll holla at you later. I don't know what to say. I'll talk to you guys later. Love ya, bye.